Buongiorno. La tesi di laurea che oggi presento consiste in un glossario inglese-italiano sull'agricoltura biologica. Diverse sono le ragioni dietro la scelta dell'argomento. In primo luogo, l'attenzione per tutto ciò che riguarda il settore alimentare, in particolare da un punto di vista politico ed economico. La recente carestia nel Corno d'Africa ci ha ricordato che quasi 1 miliardo di persone continua a vivere sotto lo schiaffo della fame. E nel corso della storia, la limitata offerta di cibo ha spesso innescato le rivolte del pane. Per fare un esempio vicino a noi, il prezzo in ascesa delle derrate agricole dapprima ha innescato nel 2007-2008 sommosse in tutto il mondo. Poi è stato un fattore determinante della primavera araba che ha investito il Maghreb. L'interesse specifico per l'agricoltura biologica è merito di Carlo Petrini, figura di rilievo internazionale che con il suo movimento Slow Food, ormai attivo in 150 paesi, ha contribuito a sensibilizzare l'opinione pubblica riguardo sia l'importanza geopolitica del cibo, sia il valore e la qualità delle diverse tradizioni alimentari. In Italia l'agricoltura biologica ha trovato terreno particolarmente fertile. Nella scorsa decade il comparto ha registrato tassi di crescita del 10-20% all'anno. E il nostro paese è primo in Europa per numero di operatori bio e per valore percentuale della superficie bio sul totale della superficie agricola. Possibili opportunità per gli interpreti scaturiscono dalle considerevoli esportazioni dei prodotti italiani nel mondo e dalle numerose iniziative dedicate al biologico, come la Fiera Sana che si tiene ogni anno a Bologna. Senza dimenticare che il tema di Expo 2015 sarà proprio l'alimentazione e l'agricoltura biologica avrà sicuramente ampio spazio. This glossary focuses on agronomical strategies and practices implemented by organic farmers in the field. This work addresses the general public and, in particular, an interpreter, whose job requires commanding the special languages he is faced with. To guarantee equality, the interpreter should study the subject of the task he has been given beforehand. That way, he will integrate his own extralinguistic knowledge, that is, prior encyclopedic and shared knowledge. The author's goal, rather than producing an exhaustive treatise on organic farming, is facilitating a conference interpreter's job in its various stages, from studying to translating in the booth. This is a terminological and terminographic research, as it focuses on the terminology of a specific discipline and is the result of terminological studies aimed at producing a collection of terms. It consists of 211 terminographic records complete with all due information. The entry term and equivalent fields include the term, a linguistic unit made of single words, clusters or phraseologisms, and its morphosyntactic category. Entry terms were chosen on the ground of use frequency and official registration. This special language features several synonyms, therefore a term's variants are showed in this field, in small caps rather than all caps, in order to allow the reader to see them immediately. The context field reproduces a piece of text featuring the term in both languages. The definition field explains the term's meaning. The domain field identifies the term's disciplinary field, further specified by the subdomain if necessary. The notes field include an array of information such as images or particular uses. The author drew on linguistic and extra-linguistic source materials. The formers are translation-oriented materials, dictionaries, monolingual and bilingual technical glossaries. The latter's reference works in both languages. The increasing availability of books, papers, and articles in digital formats significantly reduced time and costs of research. First, the author consulted entry-level books, such as agronomy handbooks in both languages. Then he focused on documents about the special subject field, articles, both printed and digital, from dedicated journals, web portals such as CINAB, the Italian information system on organic farming created by the Italian Ministry for Agricultural, Food and Forestry Policies, and European law, a handy source material since all European Union acts are published on the official journal in the languages of all member states, allowing for cross-language comparison. The author adopted an onomasiological approach from the concept to the term, which allows to establish the relation between a concept and its various denominations. To identify concepts present in both languages or in just one of them, in which case it is necessary to find a concept match. To establish concept relations between two terms. The semasiological approach, from the term to the concept, was applied in a few selected cases, such as the list of fertilization products in section 3 or plant protection products in section 9, admitted in organic farming according to European law. The glossary is divided in 9 sections: farming system, tillage, plant propagation, crop rotation, irrigation, fertilization, composting, pruning, and integrated pest management. The first section is a sort of introduction aimed at drawing the boundaries of organic farming by comparing it with other farming systems. Every other section features a tree structure showing its concept map drawn with CMap tools, a dedicated software developed by the Institute for Human and Machine Cognition of Cornell University of West Florida. A concept map is a structured set of concepts built on the established relationships between these concepts and in which each concept is determined by the position occupied in this set, as defined in ISO standard 1087. There are several types of concept relations. First, there are hierarchical relations, which can be generic or partitive. Generic relations are type of relations between an hypernym and an hyponym, whose semantic field is included within that of the former. A word or cluster that shares the same hypernym as another word or cluster is a co-hyponym. Partitive relations, on the other hand, link a unit to its parts. There are also non-hierarchical relations, such as chronological, evolutionary, causal, and instrumental relations. Finally, pragmatic or associative relations can be established between two thematically close concepts. Now let's take a look at some interesting elements. Section 2, tillage, includes both traditional tillage, showed in detail in a separate map, and new tillage systems that started spreading in the 1960s, mostly in English-speaking countries, in order to reduce or avoid soil tillage. Concerning traditional tillage, the co-hyponyms primary tillage, secondary tillage, and tertiary tillage are bound in a non-hierarchical chronological relation. Those three types of tillage are performed in the order showed by the dotted arrows. Mechanical and manual tillage implements are also included in this section on the ground of a non-hierarchical instrumental relationship. This instrumental criterion is valid for the glossary as a whole. In section 3, plant propagation, it's interesting that Italian speakers use opaque elements such as thalea or margota, while English speakers use cuttage or air layering, which are more transparent in their meaning. Furthermore, in order to identify the different types of graftage, English speakers use verbal nouns, budding, grafting, and inarching, while Italian speakers use noun phrases, innesto a gemma, a marza e per approssimazione. In section 4, rotation, another non-hierarchical chronological relation between the co-hyponyms soil-conserving crop, soil-building crop, and soil-depleting crop is established. Those three types of crop are rotated in this order to maintain soil fertility and to prevent pests from spreading. Now let's skip to section 6, fertilization. The irrigation domain lacks interesting linguistic elements. Here, the author has found remarkable differences between English and Italian. In the latter, concime, ammendante, and correttivo are hyponyms of fertilizzante, a term that encompasses all products that supply fertilizing elements to the soil or modify its physical characteristics and pH. In English, there is no similar hypernym. Fertilizer is the equivalent of concime, as European law confirms. And while there is no doubt about the equivalence between ammendante and soil conditioner, English and Italian agronomists have different views on modifying pH. The former usually maintain or increase it, the latters decrease it too. Therefore, there is no perfect concept correspondence between liming material and correttivo. Compost, which Italian borrows from English as a calque, and its hyponyms are included in section 6, but composting, in Italian compostaggio, a loan word, is the focus of section 7. It is interesting that Italian speakers use starter, a calque, to identify what in English is called activator. Concerning pruning, section 8, English speakers use two distinct terms, pruner and lopper, to mean what Italian speakers call forbice and forbice a manico lungo. The final section focuses on integrated pest management, IPM. This domain features several concept maps. The first one shows the array of IPM strategies, and each one of them is then represented in detail in separate maps. The cultural control and biological control maps are shown here as an example. Practices used in cultural control and already included in other sections are not reported here. The relation with IPM is signaled in the notes. And as far as biological control is concerned, specific microorganisms are not included as they are identified with Latin names in both English and Italian, thus lacking an interest from a translation perspective. Generally, IPM Italian lexicon borrows several terms from English in the form of loanwords, monitoraggio, cattura massiva, pesticida, or CALCS, sanitation. This is probably due to the fact that those techniques have been experimented and adopted only in recent times. How could this work be expanded? Further research could focus on organic animal husbandry and certification, labeling, and distribution of organic products. Thanks for your patience and attention.